Welcome everybody today to Brotato, or to be more specific, the Brotato demo. As you can see here, when I move out of frame, yeah. It's a very early access of a new upcoming game that's very similar to games like Vampire Hunter. So it's basically just a roguelike auto-battler bullet hell game. And as you can see, there are a ton of different characters, despite this being a very early version of the game. And I don't know what else to say, let's get into it. So, you can choose a character with unique bonuses, as you could see just now. And you can choose a starting weapon. There are a lot of different starting weapons. I personally prefer ranged starting weapons because they're just easier to use, but it's up to you which one you use. And well, the gameplay is very simple, as you can see. You basically just walk around and the game automatically fights for you. There are a lot of enemies spawning. If they touch you or shoot you, you take damage. And they drop coins. These coins are both currency and experience points. After each round, if you leveled up, as you can see on the top right here, you gain a mutation. These mutations have all kinds of different effects. Here are some of the effects that exist. I kind of cover a lot of them right now. But all you have to know is that there's a ton of them. And after each round you get to visit a shop. As you can see, you can have up to 6 weapons, and you can have unlimited items. Something like the beanie is an item that just gives you stats, in this case speed in trade for range, but I don't really like any of this, but I guess I'll take a taser, because as you'll see, I can dual wield. I can even hexa wield if I want to, but I currently don't have enough weapons. It's a pretty chill game. I've played a couple of rounds already. I've won 2, and one thing that is for sure is that armor is incredibly broken as it stands right now. But you'll see that later in case I win this run. Though that's still up for debate since I'm doing horribly right now. Also, as you can see, after each round, all the coins that you didn't pick up get put into a bag. I'll explain next round what that bag actually does. You can also reroll, by the way, and yeah, let's continue. So you see, right now, the counter says 21. If I kill an enemy, it goes down, and the coins they drop get doubled in value. So even if you don't manage to pick up all the coins, you don't technically lose them, you only get them later on instead. These little packs that sometimes appear are healing items that just heal you, and these boxes are random items that can drop either from these trees or sometimes rarely from enemies. And yeah, basically the whole point of this game is to just survive and continue the waves. Armor and trade for damage sounds like a good idea, and 1 flat damage. There's percent damage and flat damage. Percent damage is obviously better with single target weapons or in slow firing weapons, while flat damage is better for fast weapons. I think I'll take the HP regeneration because it's quite strong, especially in combination with armor. So let's continue on. And yeah, right now the game doesn't offer that much content. There is a large variety of weapons in my opinion, especially some rare ones. But right now, sadly, you can only go up to wave 10. If you go up to wave 10, you win. And continuing, as you can see right now, there are new types of enemies that appear that make the game more difficult. The shooting enemies are still quite simple, though there are some more difficult enemies later on especially I think starting round 8. But you'll see that sooner or later, unless I die here. Though I kinda doubt it. As you can see, I got 2 level ups here. Oh, crit chance for armor. No, I'm not going for a crit build, so I'm not going to take it. Max HP sounds good, and another flat damage. Oh, or 2 armor. 2 armor is just flat damage reduction. But flat damage sounds good as well. Although I need a fast firing weapon now. The pistol isn't fast firing, but I guess it has to be enough right now. So, the game is quite simplistic, but honestly it's quite fun because it's quite relaxing, to be honest, since you really only have to move and the game does the rest for itself. No, I think I've already elaborated on that enough. And so yeah, it's pretty chill. There are some very interesting characters. For example, there are some characters that simply can't pick up melee weapons, while others can't pick up guns, which does add some interesting dynamics. Especially there's one character that I do find interesting, but I didn't want to confuse anyone with this first run, because that character has a very high attack speed, but can only pick up one weapon at a time, which is quite interesting. There's no downside to this item, so I'll take it. And I suppose I'll take the lungs twice. SMG. The SMG is a weapon that greatly benefits from flat damage. As you can see, it has a very fast cooldown. It shoots 20 times a second, compared to the pistol that shoots once a second. Though, I'm not sure if I want to pick up the brass knuckles. I think I'll do, just in case any enemies get too close to me. These enemies, for example, charge at you. They turn red and then do a big charge and do a lot of damage. So you ideally want to be moving all the time while facing them. But yeah, there's not really much more to say about this. Although, I am really wondering about some of the stats that these monsters have. Since the game is pretty new and not that popular as it stands, there sadly isn't any wiki or anything like that where I can check. Maybe I'll do some testing later down the line myself. But as you can see, the game can get quite chaotic over time, as there are more and more enemies. And it's quite easy to die quickly, especially in these late rounds. And as you can see, item boxes come to you automatically. I don't think I want to take this, even though it's a 15% damage increase. I like my HP, so no thank you. I'll take some extra range and... max HP for health regeneration sounds like a good deal. The sad tomato is incredibly strong, because it gives you max HP and nice HP regeneration, though you start with only 50% of your max HP. So for example, if I would have picked it, I would have only started with 19 health, as opposed to the 38 HP that I would have had. But I didn't have the money anyway, so yeah. And yeah, still as you can see, the game gets way more chaotic. I really wonder what it's like to play one certain character who deals more damage in total, but spawns I think 50% more enemies, which sounds quite a lot here. And as you can see, in this case I lost this run. But as an alternative, I could take one of the special characters. In this case, the one-armed one. It sounds quite fun. Pretty much the first couple of rounds you can just stand still with him. Because he has enough attack speed to basically wipe out anything. Unless you use the shotgun like I do, because it can miss enemies. So it probably wasn't the best idea to pick it right now, but I think it's one of the more reliable weapons out of all of these. You can see I have 210% higher attack speed here. And I think I'll take the plan, because HP regeneration is always nice. And yeah, that's pretty much the game. I'll try to not die this time, though I'll need quite a bit more armor. Because so far, the only games I have won were the ones where I've had enough armor to run through giant groups of enemies while killing them. More HP regeneration can't hurt, but more max HP is even better. As you can also see, if you pick up items, those appear on your character, though some items override other items in appearance. So it's actually quite similar to games like The Binding of Isaac, where you can have very interesting combinations of appearances, though sadly some override others. And as you can see, despite me only having one weapon and that being my starter weapon, this potato is fairly strong at clearing enemies simply due to the highly increased attack speed. Plus armor, I'll always take that, plus HP. That's great too. These weapons, I might take the Scar. Yeah, this Scar sounds nice. Even though I lose max range, I can now shoot at enemies that are right in front of me. Which can be quite helpful since I don't plan on picking up a melee weapon here. Because, as I already said, I can only have one weapon at a time with this character. And so yeah. It's honestly quite interesting to see how this game, despite being in such an early state, has quite a bit of content already. I mean, considering it's only a demo, I feel like it has quite a lot of potential. And though only time can tell how this will work out. I really hope it will gain some more traction over time. But I guess I don't really have a way of influencing that, do I know? Also, if you ever wonder what your stats are, you can simply press escape and look at them closely. Also, all of your items are shown. But that's probably one of the least relevant parts right now. I do like having this much HP though, because I feel way safer than I did last run. Although I do wish I had a little more armor. But I guess I can't have everything, can I now? Honestly, in a weird way, it's almost relaxing to play this game. Despite dozens of monsters running at you, trying to kill you, and you trying to constantly outrun them, that's still fairly relaxing. Crit them? I don't build crits, so... I have speed. I reroll. Sadly I can't get the acid, which would be especially beneficial since I'm an alchemist, but I guess the game wants to force me to take the beanie. Speed never hurts. Even though I lose range, but I want to be close to enemies anyways, because the shotgun isn't known to be a really accurate weapon. Yeah, I'm starting to take a bit more damage than I'm fine with, but it's all okay right now. I do wish I had more piercing or maybe a minigun or something to deal with these masses of enemies. Or even if I don't get a better weapon, can I please get some range damage? Thank you, game. And so yeah. It's really a circle running simulator right now, since I can't kill the enemies, but I somehow survived. Though it was a bit close towards the end. I don't play melee weapons, so no, thank you. Yeah, I would prefer flat damage, but I guess I don't have a choice. Set tomato, as I said, quite a great item, because I am very durable right now. Though I have to be careful to not die before I heal up again. And as you can see, every 5 seconds I heal 7 HP, which is quite a lot. It would be better if I wouldn't take that much damage from touching enemies, but well, there isn't all too much I can change about this now, can I? Yeah, I'm probably dead here. Yeah. Whoops, maybe better luck next time. But this was Brotato. And I really have to try getting better at the game. I thought playing a couple of rounds beforehand would help, but I guess you can't wish for everything.